All right, today we're going to talk about something that a lot of us have probably seen, but maybe don't really get. It's what I'm calling the hidden geography of indoor mold. Sounds dramatic, I know, but you'll see what I mean. Let's jump in.
So, picture this. You decide it's time for a deep clean. You pull a big sofa or maybe a heavy wardrobe away from the wall and bam, there it is. A shocking, dark patch of mold. And you're thinking, how is this possible? The rest of the room is totally clean. It feels like it just appeared out of thin air.
Well, if that's ever happened to you, trust me, you are not alone. It's a super common household mystery. But the good news is, there's actually a pretty simple scientific reason behind it, and that's exactly what we're going to uncover right now.
Okay, so here's our big question, the one we're really trying to solve. Why? Why does mold show up in that one specific hidden spot? What's so special about the wall behind your couch compared to, the rest of the room?
Okay, first things first, let's get one thing straight. This is not about your house being dirty, seriously. Seeing this kind of mold doesn't mean you're a bad housekeeper. It's actually a sign of something totally different, a secret little microenvironment that you've accidentally created.
So to figure this out, we need to put on our detective hats. It turns out there are three main culprits, three suspects, if you will, that team up to create the perfect crime scene for mold. So let's unmask them one by one.
Okay, let's meet suspect number one. This one is really sneaky, mostly because you can't even see it.
It's all about restricted airflow. Think about it. When you shove a big piece of furniture right up against a wall, you basically create this dead zone behind it, a pocket of trapped, stale air. And that air isn't mixing with the rest of the air in the room. This is the first, and honestly, the most crucial piece of the puzzle.
All right, on to suspect number two. And this one, well, it works as a partner in crime with the first one.
We're talking about surface temperature. So any wall that's on the outside of your house is naturally going to be a little bit colder than your inside walls, right? But here's the thing. In that trapped air pocket we just talked about, that effect gets way, way stronger. That little patch of wall becomes a cold spot, way colder than the rest of the room. And that leads us directly to our third and final suspect. This is the one that really brings the whole problem to life, the one that makes it visible.
And that suspect is condensation. Look, the air inside our homes always has moisture in it. It comes from cooking, taking a shower, even just from us breathing. Now, when that warm, moist air drifts into that little trapped air pocket and hits that super cold wall, it's like a tiny magic trick. The moisture has nowhere to go, so it turns from an invisible gas back into visible water droplets. You get a damp wall.
So there you have it, our three culprits: trapped air, a cold wall, and moisture from condensation. Any one of these on its own, probably not a big deal. But when you get all three of them together, conspiring behind your furniture, you get the perfect storm for mold.
And this right here, this is the aha moment. On a normal, open wall, the air moves around, it keeps the wall pretty much the same temperature as the room, and everything stays dry. But behind that blocked wall, the air gets trapped, the wall gets cold, and bam, condensation forms. That's the whole game right there. It's the critical difference.
And this is the final piece of the puzzle. See, tiny mold spores are literally everywhere, all the time, just floating in the air. They're totally harmless, but they're just waiting for two things: moisture and a place where they won't be disturbed. And that little damp, stagnant spot behind your furniture, it's basically a 5-star resort for mold.
And this is why just scrubbing the mold off the wall never seems to work for long. When you do that, you're just treating the symptom. You haven't actually busted the gang of culprits that caused it in the first place.
I mean, we've all done it, right? You find the mold, you get out the bleach, you scrub like crazy, and maybe you pull the furniture out just a few inches and think, whew, okay, problem solved.
But not so fast, because guess what? The wall is still a cold spot. There's still invisible spores in the air, just waiting around. And if you didn't create enough of a gap, that perfect storm is just going to come right back. You didn't actually change the fundamental conditions.
So how do we actually solve this? How do we close the case for good? Well, the real key isn't about buying a stronger cleaning spray. It's all about understanding what's going on so you can prevent it from ever happening again.
It really comes down to a simple 3-step shift in how you think about it. Step 1. You got to realize the mold itself isn't the problem. It's just the symptom. Step 2. Understand that the real cause is that little hidden microenvironment. And step 3. The only way to solve it is to change that environment. And the number one way to do that is to get some air flowing over that cold wall.
Yeah, the only way to win this battle for good is to disrupt that perfect storm. You have to break the cycle. And that really just means leaving a big enough gap between your furniture and the wall. Let the air move. That simple act helps keep the wall warmer and stops the condensation before it even starts. You've got to change the conditions.
So at the end of the day, beating this kind of mold is all about understanding the hidden geography of your own home. Once you start to see these invisible cold spots and pockets of trapped air, you suddenly have the power to fix the problem, or even better, stop it before it ever gets a chance to start.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought, doesn't it? Now that you know the science behind what's happening behind the sofa, what other hidden spots could be lurking in your home? Think about it. What about behind heavy curtains, or deep in the corners of a packed closet? The science is exactly the same. And now you know what to look for.